So picture this, a group of mercenaries are holding King Madrathan on their base on Black Cat Island. They want an excessive amount of gold and priceless magical artifacts that are in the castle. You and your party are tasked to infiltrate the base and rescue the king. Failure is not an option. And if that sounds familiar to you, then yes, it does sound like a fantasy Metal Gear game. The Metal Gear series has always been a favourite of mine. It has a story that can be engaging, emotional, and downright clever when it wants to be, while also being childish, over the top, and just crazy. But that's what I love about the series. There's really nothing else like it. But when you think of a Metal Gear game, you think of the stealth gameplay. The games award you for avoiding combat and sneaking through undetected. You can go through the games gun blazing, but you can risk dying by the sheer amount of dudes that come out trying to kill you, or, God forbid, you get a bad score. Stealth is no stranger to D&D. It's been on the character sheets for a long time, and rogues and rangers have been mainstays for a very long time and will for years to come. Hell, the rogue's main thing, the sneak attack, is them trying to kill you without you noticing. So it shouldn't be too hard to do a stealth adventure, right? Well, yeah, but I know whenever I've played and DM'd stealth segments in a game, it usually just comes down to the player rolling a stealth check and them trying to beat the passive perception of the enemy. And that's kind of really just it. And that's fine, but in the Metal Gear game, it's so much more than that. You have to actively get yourself from A to Z using stealth preferably. And you have to adapt to situations as they come up. So, your next session. Your party have to get to Black Cat Fortress where they know the mercenary leader is. And to get there, they have to get through heavily guarded forest. Soldiers are on patrol, but they're oblivious to you infiltrating the island. You could dash through, but do you want to risk a mission fail and the king dying? So the DM rolls out the map, puts down the minis, and says roll initiative, because it's a stealth encounter. What's a stealth encounter? Well, it's something I just came up with right there. It's when you sprinkle stealth elements into the encounter mechanics. I see it working like a regular encounter where you can do move action, etc. But depending on the kind of action you do, maybe you have to do another stealth check and risk being seen by the guards. And if you beat the guards past perception, then you're in the clear. Maybe as an action you can use magic to distract the guards to look in another direction while you run around. A very video gamey idea there. Or you can listen into conversations and gain some intel for the mission. Like where the king, the mercenary leader is, or maybe like a secret entrance into the fortress. And the soldiers on their turn can just do their own thing. Maybe they can just keep patrolling and have a look around. Maybe if they're on guard, they stand there and do a perception check with disadvantage to see you if they don't already have knowledge of you already. Maybe some other guards are just having a drink by the fire, having a laugh. So it wouldn't be exciting unless there's complications. And in the Metal Gear games, there is 3 phases to a stealth encounter. You got the normal phase, you got the alert phase, and you got the caution phase. Sometimes there's an evasion phase, but we're just gonna not use that right now. Normal is when enemies just act normally, like we just talked about right there. Alert is when they know you're there and are actively trying to kill you or capture you or do whatever, but they know where you are. And caution is when they lost you, don't know exactly where you are, but they know you exist and know you're there, so they are actively trying to look for you, so they can get back to the alert phase. And I think it'd be cool to add these phases into your game, at least as a point of reference for how the NPC should act. So in the alert phase, they're trying to kill you or capture you, or they could be outnumbered, so they either shout to get their friends to come there, or they run off to go find them. Seeing as this isn't like a modern day setting like Metal Gear, they don't have like a little radio where they can say, HQ, there's enemies here. So maybe one of the guards has to run off to the leader in the castle and let them know, and that can be mission fail. So you might have to shoot him with an arrow while he's running. In the caution phase, they know you're hiding and they're trying to look for you, so maybe they're trying to track you down using investigation or perception instead of just passive perception. Maybe the players can try and take him out one by one without them noticing. And usually in Metal Gear, after a certain amount of time, a guard would just say, I guess it was nothing, and then just it goes back to the normal phase. And you could do that if you want in your games. But if the soldiers see you, try and kill you, and then eventually be like, I guess it was just the wind, then you might get a couple of raised eyebrows. So what kind of locales can you do these encounters? Well, any of them. You can do them through the halls of the fortress, where you search each room, trying not to be detected from the patrolling guards in the hallways. Or like in Metal Gear Solid 3, through like a forest or jungle kind of setting where you're climbing from tree to tree or going through tall grass and thick swamp. That's why I suggested the adventure at the start of the video. You can kind of do a lot with that. You can go through forest, you can go through coastline, you can go through a fortress, you can go through an encampment, you can go through the sewers underneath the fortress or like a dungeon. Lots of different kinds of places you can do there. And it works as a homage to Metal Gear Solid 1, but also gives you a variety of different areas. Like in Metal Gear Solid 1, when you're on Shadow Moses Island, you're switching from blizzardy snow outdoors to nuclear disposal facility. It keeps the Metal Gear adventure focused, where you can sneak through most encounters, and hopefully with the different locations it won't get too boring after a while. But don't be afraid to throw in some regular encounters in there for climactic moments. The Metal Gear series has loads of crazy and wild boss fights in there, so you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't add them in. But that's a topic for another video. That brings me to another thing. Let's say you want to do this Metal Gear style adventure. Make sure you tell your players beforehand. What if one of your players shows up with a paladin in plate armor who is terrible at stealth? They wouldn't suit the game, would they? And they might not enjoy it because they have a character that doesn't suit the game. But if you let them know beforehand, they might get excited and want to come up with the perfect character concept for your game. You tell them that you want to do a Metal Gear style D&D game, and if they're familiar with the source material, they'll know what you're trying to do. From my experience, if you tell your players what kind of game you want to do beforehand, most of the time they will be into it. And if they're not into it, then maybe not do it. You want to make sure everybody at the table is having fun, so brainstorm something together so everybody can have fun. Sorry about that, slightly off topic. Okay, so that's my stealth encounter idea. I haven't really got around to testing out this stealth encounter and seeing how it works, but it's fun to theorize, and I might make a video follow-up in a later date after I get a chance to use it. But I like the idea personally. I feel like it makes it just a little bit more real than if you're just contesting stealth checks and perception checks, and that's it. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you like this video, and whatever the hell else you gotta do on YouTube. So thank you very much. See you next time on another video of ScreenToTable. Bye.